The details have been eye-opening. Nursing home patients dying of mistakes that shouldn't have happened.
Target 8 uncovered mistakes that caused or contributed to 112 deaths over 3 years at Michigan nursing homes. New tonight, Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker is asking, what will it take to stop the mistakes from happening? Ken?
Yeah, Brian and Marley, one of the obvious questions is this. Would it simply be enough to just hire more nurses and nurses' aides to care for the elderly?
Everywhere you go, you're going to have staffing issues everywhere. Unless you're paying $18 to $20 an hour, but you're not, so you're always going to be short-staffed, always.
The nurse's aide, who didn't want to be named, says all 4 of the nursing homes where she has worked were understaffed, including Laurel's of Sandy Creek in Wayland, where a mistake in May 2012 led to a death and a $101,000 fine. She says she has never made more than $11 an hour, about what a cashier makes, and says at Laurel's she cared for up to 14 patients at a time.
This is a tough job. You really got to have your heart in the right place when you're working with elderly.
While federal records show staffing at Laurel's is average, patients there still get 13 minutes a day less nursing care than at the average Michigan home.
And what does that mean for people living there?
It's sad. It means it's taking time away from them.
The average nursing home in Michigan provides 1 hour and 41 minutes of nursing care a day for each patient, about 2 minutes more than the national average. But the head of a national nursing home watchdog group says that is not enough. Families for Better Care gives Michigan an F for nursing home care and ranks it 4th worst in the nation, in part because of its high number of serious violations. He blames that mostly on what he calls mediocre staffing levels.
The more staff you have working on the front lines of nursing homes, the safer the residents.
But the head of the state agency that inspects nursing homes says it's more about training and culture.
You can have 6 people standing around a nurse's station, or you can have every person out talking to people. You know, it doesn't make any difference how many people you have on board if you don't have the right culture.
The wrong culture, she says, leads to mistakes. On Mother's Day 2013, a woman stopped breathing during dinner at Meadowlodge Nursing Home in Southfield. The unit's only nurse was eating lunch in her car, and nobody was filling in. 10 minutes later, another nurse ran in, but the suction machine he hoped would save her wasn't working.
And what does that tell you about the culture of the facility? That would be acceptable?
Despite the troubles, she believes nursing home care in Michigan is turning a corner, with complaints dropping in the last year. The state, she says, has streamlined inspections. Still, in the worst cases, she wants harsher fines, but says that is up to the feds, who have the final say on those penalties. The most the feds can charge is $10,000 a day, which hasn't changed for years. The association that represents most of Michigan's nursing homes says it would consider boosting minimum staffing, but opposes bigger fines.
This sector of healthcare has been fined, has been put out of business, has been all manner of sanctions over the years.
The fact that there are 112 deaths over the last 3 years, does that say that more needs to be done? Are you satisfied with that?
Well, I'm not satisfied, and more always needs to be done.
The state says any change would require legislation, both state and national. Are there some places you would not put a relative?
Absolutely.
You probably don't want to name them, though.
Absolutely not.
Ken Kolker, talk about some of the comments. I'm sure this has sparked a huge dialogue with a lot of folks at home, and you've been seeing some of the viewer comments coming in as well. Is there a trend, or is there a pattern?
We've had a lot of comments. We've had a number of comments from people with their own horror stories about deaths that they suspect something went terribly wrong. But we've also had the other side of that, which is from nurses and nurses' aides who say, they love the people they work with, and they love the residents, and they say that homes are giving them good care. So, just because we're doing these stories doesn't mean that you can paint them all with that same brush.
We'll continue, I'm sure, to look into this issue. It's just opened up so many different avenues to look into now as far as oversight, state involvement. penalties.
Definitely makes you want to do your homework before you just
Yeah.
put a loved one in a home.
Yes.
Ken Kolker, thank you. You can see all of Ken's stories right now at woodtv.com. We also have a link to where you can compare those nursing homes and file complaints.